What are masculine and feminine traits? This is Thinking on the Box, where we explore buried thoughts. When you think about masculine or feminine, you often assign it to two genders. We're not going to go into like the other kinds of genders, but we're going to focus on the main two here. When you attribute a masculine or feminine trait to someone, that's how you can further define their character and really what value they bring to your life. But in reality, what is masculine and feminine traits outside of being part of a collective and societal standard? Well, it really holds no value outside of playing a role in society, how to sort of categorize yourself within a system. Because you can arguably say that any male, any female, any person with any gender can have these traits and roles of a traditional male or female and characteristics that lean to one side versus another. But at the end of the day, how someone identifies is up to them. And why this is a little important to acknowledge is when it comes to, people judging a male for doing something very feminine oriented and a female doing something very male oriented, it's a little polarizing because of the fact that you don't want to conform anyone to a certain type of identity or structure. But at the same time, a lot of people have that prejudice and that sort of understanding that most people should fall into a structure because that's how they understand it. But as you live through life and as you talk and interact with people, you understand that less and less people actually fit that mold because of just their own lifestyle. When you think about how you were raised and how these viewpoints were made, they were probably from very, very few outsources, they're probably made from very, very few sources where you couldn't really critically analyze that kind of perspective. Growing up in this generation where there's so much identities and so much, positive support for identifying yourself and, upholding yourself, it is really interesting to see almost this facade kind of collapse and to almost see everyone be progressive in a way that says, yes, you may have these characteristics, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are what we once thought was a male or once thought was a female. Honestly, I don't know what the point of this video was other than to acknowledge the fact that there are masculine and feminine characteristics, but we really shouldn't use them anymore to define people. Defining people in your life should be on really merit, on the quality of the person, and on what they bring to your life in terms of overall value. And while that may seem kind of pragmatic and a little bit dangerous depending on how you spin it, masculine and feminine characteristics, in my opinion, no longer serve a greater part to our society other than to really segregate us.